Greetings everyone. In this tutorial, I'll be showing you how to create a Navigator app in Java using one Java file. Without further ado, let us begin. First, we would need to import all of these packages that I've already written. Now, before you wonder if you are going to write all of this code while you watch my video, it is alright. I've already provided the code in the link in the description, so you can check on that too. So let's begin further on. First, we would need to declare our public class to start our Java code, and we would need to declare our private classes first. I will explain briefly one by one. So we have our JPanels, which will be creating our panels that can be used to create the app. An app needs panels so that it can be structured. And here we have our town panel, which will be creating the town buildings that will be used in the app, and the coordinate label, which is to create the coordinate of the person or the coordinate of something in that app. And here I've created the coordinate variables in a private class, so we can use it on other classes. And then we have the static class, which are private, so that we can use it in a nested way. This is important so that we can actually structure each of these classes into other classes that we will be explaining further on in the video. Now we will be having our public class, which is actually the main functionality of what this app will consist. I first put the inputs that I can ask the user, for which we can enter the lost person's name. And of course, these are optional. You can actually write the code without this, but if you wish to add a better detail, of course, you are welcome to use these lines of code. And from these comments, we can actually get a brief detail of what the app will be about. So what I've written is that we can view each building as a vertex in a graph data structure, and the edge between them are the possible paths that a lost person could take to reach their destination. And in this case, it would be possible paths between buildings, such as roads or sidewalks, that connects between them. So in this way, I could infer that the map that will be created in the app, the panel, is limited and not as expansive, because Java cannot create an expansive sort of map because it will take large amounts of data, and we would need a better or other alternative Java versions or IDEs which can be used to create this map. So therefore, I'm only showing you the basics. So first we'll be creating our town panel, and we will of course add it to the frame. We will be using our super component, which can be used on other panels that we will be creating. These are important. So here we will be setting our color and filling our rectangle. This will be our black background you will see in the app. And we would like to draw the buildings, and each building has names. And for this one, we will have our hospital. So the hospital building will have their rectangle filled first, then we draw. The reason why we do this is because fill rectangle is to structure the rectangle, while draw rectangle is to present the rectangle into the app. And we can set the color to black. And then here we have other buildings such as Living Plaza, Police Station, and so on. You can add as many buildings as you like. The G frame will actually accord and set itself accordingly to your needs based on the app. And then if we would like to present the building names, nevertheless, these are optional, but if you would like to make it better design-wise, you can use these codes below. So when I want to reference the hospital, I can draw the string right here. And these are the fonts that I would like to use to present those names. And then here are the additional building details for perhaps other buildings that we would like to give a better detail. Like for example, for the police station, I'd like it not shaped as just a rectangle. I'd like to shape it like an L rectangle. And that's And with this code, we can actually create that. And then if we would like to set a font for the name tag for the coordinate, we can also do that as well, especially with the G variable that has already been declared super. And then we can get the width and height of the name tag if we want to set a distance between the coordinate and the dot, and so on. And then here we have our town panel already defined, and then we have our coordinate label already defined, and nevertheless we already have the timer already defined to update the lost person's location. How long has he been lost? And now we will go to our private classes. So the difference between the public class and the private classes is that the public classes are the main functionality of the app. So without the public classes, the app will not work. It is, you can say, the primary needs of the app, like how does the app move, how the coordinate moves, and how the buildings is supposed to go. And private classes are additional details that makes the app very functional. So our first private class, which is to update the person's location. And we will be using dx and dy since we already declared x and y beforehand. Dx and dy are more or less the destinations or the coordinates, and we will be subtracting it by 1 so we can have our own the iterator, therefore making the integers more consistent for the coordinates. And in here we use graph algorithms. And so to create the graph algorithms, we can just wrap the lost person's coordination like this. Because when the coordinate goes out of bounds, the coordinate will return to that map. So like I said, our map is very limited, and nevertheless it's not as expansive as a map would be. So therefore, we have to set limits in order for the app to continue functioning as usual. And then if the character goes out of bounds, if we wish to do this in a loop, we would need to repaint the town panel so that the town panel can return back to normal when it happens. And then we have another private class, which is of course to update label, which we can use to create a timer. And we'll be using a long variable for the timer for elapsed time, since a timer will need long and long bits of code, because this app will keep counting time until it reaches the limit of Java code, the Java bits, which is about 2 billion something. And if we want like to format the timer, we can use 0.02 decimal points. And this is our label. And here you can see our public static void main class, which will help us run the code. This is the navigator. We will set it visible. And this is our frame. We will declare the frame. And here's our time label. We set it as a horizontal alignment. We set the font. And then we make the border layouts. And then this is the running parts of the code to make the code running and to make the code running in a loop. And then this is our timer. And the timer will keep overriding so that it will continuously count time until we force the app to stop. And now let's run the code, the moment you've all been waiting for. It will take time because creating a window panel in Java can be very long. And as you can see, it's gotten out in a few seconds. So let's say the last person's name is my name, is real fun. And if we run it, you can see that the code is actually working. You can see that I'm going everywhere. And if I go to McDonald's, it shows a yellow building. And if I go to the supermarket, it shows a blue building. And when I go out bounds in a few moments, you can see that the movement is static since I'm not controlling it. But when it goes bound in a moment, you can see that I'm coming back. And I'm going everywhere all around. And as you can see, the timer keeps going, and the timer will keep going on until I force the app to stop. And so there you have it, a simple navigator program or app using one Java file. As simple as that. You don't need to make things complicated. The code is already in the description, and I hope you find this video useful. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And thank you.